Hi everybody, nice of everyone to join me again. Okay, so we're back for installment number 3, and today we're going to talk about the third element, which are 16th notes. Now 16th notes get pretty busy, and as the name would suggest, there are 16 of them in any bar. So we learn to count 16 notes by saying 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Now, don't forget to breathe, because it's very easy to run out of breath when you're doing that, particularly when you're counting them at a fast tempo. So we're going to stick with our 16 beats a minute. And today, hopefully, we'll learn how to play 16 notes, and then we're going to put them together with element number 2, 8 notes, element number 1, quarter notes, and element number 4, or breakdown, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And they will be the 4 parts that we have learned to put together, and then we can dice that up a little bit and turn it into that very funky groove that we've been learning, that I showed you at the beginning of our first session together. So all of these elements can be practiced separately. You can play these on anything, a couple of spoons, if you had a wooden block, if you had a shaker, if you had some eggs, cowbell, whatever you will have. Get somebody on a few pots and pans, get a shaker, whatever you want to, put some rice into a plastic container, get some any kind of beans, or dry beans of course, put them into any kind of container and shake them. Really good for making 16 notes. So you can have a lot of fun even if you don't have a drum. So we're going to try and learn today to play our 16 notes, and here we go. Click at 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and clap this part. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and rest on our knees using alternating hands. Here we go. And 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E 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 and rest. Okay, so you have a drum. Here we go. 1. If it's a tabletop, you have rest. Maybe you have a plastic container. Here we go. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E, 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and rest. 2, 3. Excellent. So, whatever you're playing on, if it's the tabletop, if it's the plastic container, if it's your knees, or if you're lucky enough to have a drum, playing along the click, that's the secret to the whole thing. Also, just to reiterate back to our 4th element, which is probably the trickiest piece of it all, counting that regularly and doing it often will really help you make it be able to fit into the piece. The thing about it that's a little bit tricky is it doesn't fall always on the beat like the rest of the things that we're doing. Some of it is just slightly off the beat. And if we remember, it's counted like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And we're counting at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 because they're easy to remember, and it makes it much more practical in order to be able to be successful with it. So, but just to illustrate how it's a slight bit off from where all the rest of the beats fall, I'll play my first element here with my quarter notes as my 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll play the 4th element with this hand. So we like this. We are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This exercise will help you with being able to make it and fit. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we put them together now like this. We have to tap 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so practice that. Put the two pieces together if you can, alternating hands, but keep on practicing it because then we're going to use it in the next installment of it, putting it together to tie it together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try and combine all of these elements together, all the things we've learned so far. So we're going to do one measure of quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to do that 4 times. One measure of 8 notes, which are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to do that for 4 bars. One measure of 16 notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and we're going to do that for 4 bars. And 1 bar of the breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Excellent. So that we have 4 bars of that as well. So now, here we go. We're going to try and put the whole thing together. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Element number 1, quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Element number 2 are 8 notes. 1, Excellent. So let's put them all together. We're going to try it again. Now the more you do this, the more you practice this, the better you're going to get it. Okay? So I'll just count. I'm not going to count all the individual notes now. I'll just count the separate bars so we know where we are. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Element number 1, quarters. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Element number 2, 8 notes. 1, excellent. Very good. So, we'll knock our clip off for a second. Now, like I said, not everybody may have a drum. So you can practice that on a table. You can practice it on your little plastic container if that's what you have. If you don't have any of that, you can use your legs. Maybe in fact your legs might be the best place to learn all of those things because then you can transfer them. But it's the basics of rhythm that we're trying to get done. And what's going to happen in the next lesson is we're going to combine those bits all together. But we're going to take pieces from each bar and put them in slightly different places. That way we're going to wind up with that beautiful rhythm that we learned how to play, or that you listened to in the very first lesson. I think I covered it a little bit in the last video I did it to you guys as well. So it's taking a quarter note, a 16th note, an 8th note, a 16th note. So element 1, element 3, element 2, element 3, and element 4, and putting those guys together. So the more you practice, the better you're going to get at them. Now, I'm just going to reiterate today, and again, I know most people probably don't have a djembe, but there's a load of different sounds that you can get from a djembe, but we're using two basic sounds. The first is the bass sound, and just to reiterate, our hand should be flat, our fingers should be close together, and we should be striking the drum in the center of the drum with the flat of our hands. And it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simply to get our bass sound. Now to get the rim sound, which is of a higher pitch, we're going to be using from here up in the hand. So we're using all of our fingers and from this part of the palm. But the palm of the hand is actually not on the drum at all. So we have this. 1, 2, 3. Now, some of you may only have a table. If you have a table, move your hands in so all of your hand is over the table, is on the table, the flat of your hand. And you can use that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Practice your notes. Then when you move it out so that only your fingers are now remaining on the table, you have 1. You can hear it's a higher pitch, it's a higher sound. If all that you have is your container, maybe you might have a bigger container than this. A little smaller wouldn't be much good, but even if this is all we have, when we're doing our flat of our hand on it, we have it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move our hand out and we can go. So it's to get two different sounds out of the drum. Once you learn the rhythm basics, quarter notes, 8 notes, 16 notes, and our breakdown, you can then combine them to play an enormous amount of rhythms. For instance, I'm going to play a short piece of drumming with you and I'm just going to improvise on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all of the elements that we've learned just to show you where it can go. And then next week we'll take the different elements and I'll show you how we're going to construct them to play our final piece of music. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once you've learned the basics, you can apply them in many different ways and you can have fun. So have fun, encourage each other to keep at it, whether you're 5 or 105, follow those basic steps and you'll be able to play along with us. So thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in the next installment where we put it all together, play that funky groove. Keep it funky, take care, bye. Take care.